Hey y'all, how's it going? Totally impromptu. Not totally impromptu because I did mention yesterday when I posted the picture of the back of this book that I might want to come on and do this. So I came on and did this. Let's see. I don't know if any of y'all are around. It's 2:35 on Friday. Maybe. I don't know. If I do a Facebook Live, it tends to be in the 2:30, 3 o'clock Pacific range. So maybe you're around. And if you're around, let's jam a little bit. It could be fun. I am obsessed with this book. Obsessed. I've had it like 20 hours and I can't stop. I am like, okay, so let me tell you the story on this. Hey Ariel, this is Shawn Achor's newest book. He is the New York Times best-selling author of The Happiness Advantage and Before Happiness, neither of which I've read. I know Shawn through Oprah, like we all hang out, because no, we don't. Maybe they do. I don't yet. But what happened, and I'm going to have to do something with this. Yay. Okay, good, Ariel. Awesome. I have to do something with this because otherwise I'm just going to mess with it. And y'all know no, can't be bothered. Can't be bothered with the horror. It's just too much. It's too much. Hey, Joey. Glad you could join us on this impromptu chat. All right, just get it out of my way. I had a Pilates class just before, and now I have a meeting with my team in a little bit, and then I have a pole class, which I wasn't planning to do today, but there's a sub for the pole class that I wasn't going to do tonight, and she messaged me and was like, you have to come. I'm going to help you get into your handstands. And so I'm like, because I want to get into my handstands. I'm not going to be able to get into my handstands tonight, but she's going to help me get there. We're going to do some conditioning. So anyway, and the lady who usually teaches tonight's class teaches like half of it as a twerking workshop. Not on brand to twerk. No, not my thing. It's great. The videos look awesome whenever I see what they're doing, on social media. Like, yeah, that's good for y'all in your 20s. Not for me. No, grandma needs to sit that one out. Okay, so I know Shawn Achor through Oprah because I go to the Super Soul Sessions tapings when Oprah does those over at UCLA. Always amazing, always inspiring. I always take so much away from being there in the room. Shawn did a talk at the first ever of the Super Soul Sessions tapings, and he is a Harvard educated PhD and more. Like, he has like 4 degrees. He's a Harvard educated PhD who studies the neuroscience of happiness. I'm so turned on even thinking about that. The neuroscience of happiness. Think about that. Like, the actual way the brain deals with being in a happier place. Like, oh my God, Bonnie Gillespie class. Yes, I would just constantly be in classes about that. So Shawn did his talk. He's got a really popular TED talk. If you're not familiar with him, he's so cool. He's got such a great yes and such an awesome, charismatic personality. He's just a blast to watch. And he always reminds me of Andrew Nielsen, who's among us here in the dojo, because he's just got that like, I could just watch you talk and walk around the stage and just be adorable all day long kind of vibe. And so anyway, Shawn, smarty that he is also really great about keeping it real. And y'all know I have a big old brain and am very well educated, and I spend a lot of time translating to make sure that the information that I share is accessible. Because I think one of the big problems, one of the gaps that exists between some really important big thinking and higher education level ideas is that they don't ever come away from academia into a more accessible and palatable way of being shared. And I'm all about running things through the self-management for actors filter and talking about things in a way that we can all just get our heads around. I mean, it just makes it easier. So Shawn is big into that. This book, Big Potential, basically is all about here's the 5 bullet points, which I posted last night in the dojo. Surrounding yourself with positive influencers to create a star system where you can shine, expanding your power by leading from any seat and inspiring others to do the same, enhancing your resources of energy, creativity, and motivation, defending the system against attacks on your productivity, drive, and positivity, and sustaining collective momentum to push your performance to new levels. I mean, for fuck's sake, right? This could not be more my jam. So I just wanted to pop in and read a couple of things to y'all. And yes, I'm going to be doing a mini course on this in the SMFA Vault. I'm also working up a mini course. Those of you who worked with me in New York already know a lot of this because I shared it with you in our class, our master class in New York. When I was on the flight, I'll come back to Shawn Achor and Big Potential in a minute. When I was on my flight to New York, one of the things that I was able to watch on my in-flight entertainment center there was this course from the Energy Project. Tony Schwartz was the guy who taught it. The Energy Project, oh my God. Also could have been titled, Monty Gillespie, this class is for you. Is all about how we can more fully tap into our potential and serve the world with our art and with our storytelling and with any of our goals, obviously, by amping up the 4 reservoirs of energy. So I am going to be doing a mini course on this as well as on Big Potential by Shawn Achor in the vault. And I'm super excited to share this stuff with y'all because I'm still geeking out about this Energy Project course. But the upshot or the too long didn't read of the Energy Project thing is that we have energy stores, physical energy, emotional energy, mental energy, and spiritual energy. And all 4 of those stores have to be fed and maintained at a certain level in order for us to have maximum energy with anything we do. So there was a lot of flow theory woven into this. And for those of you who are like still kind of like, I don't know what flow theory, it's just because it's so dense. And I know I tried to break it up to make it less dense, but it's really geeky shit. This is a little more accessible even still. And I drew some of the graphics, but I also, oh my God, in addition to drawing some of the graphics that were on the screen, I was like, I'm in airplane mode. I'm just going to take a picture of the screen. And so I actually took pictures of some of the graphics that they shared. And I don't know if I'll put them up as is or if I will hire our graphic designer to do a ninja version of those same graphics so that I'm not technically, putting up shit that I took a picture off a television screen in flight. But whatever. Those are all things for me to figure out the logistics of before I share this with y'all. But the Energy Project course covers everything from why we suffer burnout, holy crap, why we come up and down from our emotional and reactive states, how we can stay positive, and even how we see the states of recovery from our flow state as positives. And that's all about Self-Care 101. So y'all know I'm big into that. We're going to be getting into that in the dojo coming soon. And also, Big Potential. So here's what I want to do. I want to share a couple things that I marked in here and then just find out how y'all doing because we got a few of you on here. I didn't schedule this, so don't be like, oh my God, I missed it. I didn't schedule this because I didn't know what my schedule was going to be like, and so I just figured let me hop in and we'll chat if you're here, and if not, you watch it in replay, you post questions here and I answer them. All right, so this one, holy crap. This whole section is on the mangroves. Mangrove was a term that was new to me until yesterday when I stood in line waiting to get into an event that I attended with Denise Duffield-Thomas. Y'all remember her from Day 9, the Money Day. Lucky bitch. She's in LA. She's in the States for the first time in many, 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 many years, and probably the only time she'll be in the States for the next couple years because they're going to have another kid, and so they're not going to be leaving Australia for a little while. And so she's doing a series of events, and I went to the one that she did last night. And while I was standing in line to get in, because of course I got there so early because that's the way I am, and I thought I would sit there and journal. Well, they weren't even letting us into the venue, so we had to stand outside on the street corner. Luckily, I brought a book, so I'm just standing there because journaling is a little harder standing there in the line, but reading a book was super easy, so I'm just like, da-da-da-da-da. So I learned all about the mangroves, and mangrove is apparently a kind of lightning bug. And lightning bugs and fireflies are those bugs that we don't have here in Southern California, unfortunately, but growing up in Atlanta, I was all about the lightning bug and how it would light up its little back end to say, hey, I want to make babies with you. And I mean, that's part of its That's part of its thing. I mean, it's part of all bugs and birds and bees and creatures things. That's the whole peacocking thing. That's evolution. The mangrove, however, has a synchronized way of lighting up its lightning bug butt down to the millisecond. And there are these studies that they did of this bioluminescent lightning bug and this pattern of igniting at the same time. The theory being, it doesn't make sense from an evolutionary standpoint that lightning bugs would go off at the same time, because if they're trying to attract the attention of a potential mate, the competition of doing that all at the same time seems counterintuitive to attracting a mate. You should want to stand out, right? Okay, so think about this as an actor, and I got to do the thing that makes me stand out. I got to do the thing that makes me different. Okay, here's what's amazing. They did research on this because, of course, this geeky research shit, I love it. I'm not going to get into all the details of it. It's all in here. If there's footnotes, this book has fucking footnotes. Oh my God, I love it so much. All right, ready for this? When lightning bugs light up at random times, the likelihood of a female responding to a male in the deep, dark recesses of a mangrove forest is 3%. But when the lightning bugs light up together, the likelihood of females responding is 82%. That is not a typo. The success rate increased by 79 percentage points when flashing as an interconnected community rather than as an individual. Society teaches that it's better to be the only bright light rather than being in a forest of bright lights. After all, isn't that the way we think about success in our schools and companies? We want to graduate at the top of our class, get the job at the best company, be chosen to work on the most coveted project. We want our child to be the smartest kid at school, the most popular kid on the block, the fastest kid on the team. When any resource, be it acceptance to the most prestigious university, an interview with a top-ranking company, or a spot on the best athletic team is limited, we are taught that we have to compete in order to differentiate ourselves from the rest of the pack. And yet, research shows that this isn't actually the case. The lightning bug researchers discovered that when the fireflies were able to time their pulses with one another with astonishing accuracy to the millisecond, it allowed them to space themselves apart perfectly, thus eliminating the need to compete. In the same way, when we help others become better, we can actually increase the available opportunities instead of vying for them. Like the lightning bugs, once we learn to coordinate and collaborate with those around us, we all begin to shine brighter, both individually and as an ecosystem. Y'all. So then he goes into this whole thing about positive systems and how becoming a positive node in your workplace, company, or community and helping those around you improve their creativity, their productivity, their abilities, their performance, and more. You're not only helping the group become better, you are exponentially increasing your own potential for success. This is why I have y'all mentor. It's one of the reasons I have y'all mentor. Yes, I bribe you with free coaching. Yes, I want you to stay connected with the community and not feel like you've lost something when you finished your 100 days. I want you to feel invested in going back and revisiting the tools that we laid out for you without feeling like now after 100 days I'm free falling and it's all up to me to figure out what I've got to do. It's to remind you, no, you actually have this set of tools, and there are these days that were really meaningful to you back when you first did them. You should consider revisiting them to remind yourself of them. And yes, we want you helping one another, but it is to help create a community that together is far more powerful, and that becomes a place where when people go, I notice that anytime I hire a ninja, it's an easier day. That set runs smoother. We stay on time. We stay on budget. We get shit done. The number of people that I've had through this program come to me and say, I collaborated with so many different people and it was a shit show and this went wrong and that went wrong. And then I worked with ninjas and I'm like, oh, that's different. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about with this. Andrew, you're going to want to watch the replay because I talked about you at the top. Okay, so anyway, then he talks about flashing at Harvard and humans flashing instead of lightning bugs flashing. We're talking about lightning bugs right now. Okay, now I'm going to flip forward to the next one that I bookmarked. Again, I've had this book not even a full day, and I'm just like, eat it. I eat this book. Okay. All right. Where did this one start enough? Oh, this one's about genius. Okay. All right. There's this whole thing about Edison and how all of his inventions are actually credited to other people, and that Edison was just the one who went and presented the patent, which is fascinating. But talking about how he's a perfect example of what we can achieve when we recognize that potential is interconnected. He was able to become one of the most important inventors of all time because by helping his team become more creative, he tapped into the full power of his ecosystem. That's big potential. My former Shakespeare professor, Marjorie Garber, once gave a lecture saying that the meaning of the word genius has been distorted over the ages. Originally, she says you could have genius, but you couldn't be a genius. No one could own inspiration because by definition, to be inspired means that you were the recipient. So we know this as artists. That's the muse talking through us. We know that. We tap into that all the damn time when we're performing. My friend and one of my favorite people in the world is Liz Gilbert, famous author of Eat, Pray, Love. In her book, Big Magic, she argues that we must return to the idea that all great geniuses have muses who inspire and coax greatness out of them. One of my favorite parts of her book is where she describes a writer who would literally dress up and strut around the room to convince inspiration that he is worthy of its attention. My point is that big potential, like genius, creativity, and inspiration, is not something you have, it's something you tap into. Hey, Des, good to see you. Yeah, hells yeah on all of this. So good. All right, so then the thing that I flipped to, because I'm trying to read this in order, but I'm really bad about that because I love to like flip ahead and see what all the good stuff is everywhere in the book. Random. Let me see where this one, I thought it was in the 140s. Hang on. Was it the negative attacks? Okay, hang on. Yeah. Okay, if you follow me on Instagram, you saw I posted this one in my Instagram stories because it was so freaking good. Okay, there's this whole section on defending against negative influences. So, of course, I flipped to it very quickly because I was like, I got there's a lot going on right now. And so I'm like, let's look at how to combat that. There, in this section on this chapter on defending against negative influences, it covers like just this whole plan of fortifying yourself against all of it. And it's really, really good. So this section here, though, is specifically about the stress levels that we feel in today's work. Oh my God. I mean, this whole picking up the stressed out energy of our coworkers and of the things on social media. And so there, okay, I'm going to have to read a lot. So if you got to go, jump out, but I gotta share this because this just blew me away. Yes. I'm going to start here. Sure. This whole thing's great, but I'm going to start here. Incredibly, you don't even have to see or hear someone to pick up their stress. You can also smell it. New research shows that stress produces specific hormones that are released when we sweat. And the human olfactory system can not only pick up on them, but even detect whether those hormones were the result of low stress or high stress. In short, being surrounded by only negative and stressed out people very quickly tips our balance from motivated and positive to frazzled and negative. So this is also why that whole, we feel the energy of confidence, it comes in the room before you do that vibe, that it's pheromones. Like we can fucking smell if you're stressed out, and we feel it and we react to it just like on a damn physiological level. I love it. Notoriously one of the most hyper-competitive places at an already hyper-competitive university, Harvard Law School, is a veritable petri dish of negativity, anxiety, frustration, and stress. In previous research, my colleague Liz Peterson found that while incoming law students have average levels of pessimism and depression, by month 4, those levels triple the national average. Moreover, in contrast to the business school students who famously meet weekly for mixers and social events, the law school students attend just 2 social events organized throughout the school each year, leading to more competition and less connection. So my doing Thirsty Third Thursday and encouraging girls to come to pole dance class with me, and when I tour, having social events and like hanging out with people socially, is actually improving the mental headspace and combating of depression among members of our community. Who knew? That's fucking awesome. So your networking homework is actually also to help you cure some depression. Fuck yeah. So you got to do it. You got to do it. Oh, so great. There were actually 4 ninjas at Denise Duffield Thomas's event last night. And it was so great because one of them was like, I don't have to do my networking. Like, this is my networking, right? This thing. And I'm like looking around the room. There's 100 people there. And I'm like, yeah, you're good. This counts as your networking if you go and talk to that other ninja. And so I would like hook up. Like, she's on day 87. She's in the vault. Y'all talk. You know, all that kind of stuff. Laura, I told you it was fucking awesome to do a pole class with you. Ariel, it is so fucking awesome to do a pole class with me. It's amazing. I got, I think, 6 ninjas that are going to do tomorrow's class with me. It is so much fun. It is like you laugh your ass off the whole time. Hey, Thalma, how are you, gorgeous? I saw a lot of B-schoolers last night, actually. I was at the Denise Duffield Thomas thing, so of course she's a B-schooler. Saw a bunch of people there from that community as well. The pole, it's fun. It's fitness. You laugh your ass off. You get a little bruised here and there, but it is so much fun. You sore the next day. It feels so good. Oh my God, it's a blast. All right, back to, which is why, as you sit among the stacks of elegantly leather-bound law dictionaries and volumes of case law, you don't have to be studying for the bar exam to pick up the visual and olfactory assaults on your motivation and productivity. If we don't defend strategically, just being in the same environment with people who are emanating competitiveness and stress can diminish our potential. In Surround, we talked about how in today's world, we are hyper exposed to other people for practically all our waking hours. We pick up on our coworkers' stressed out energy all day in our open plan offices. We constantly absorb depressing or anxiety provoking news articles or nasty negative comments on social media. Clean it up. We viscerally feel the tense, urgent body language of people on buses, subways, and planes. Y'all, getting on an airplane, that's a lot of stress, man. Oh, fuck that. It's like I gotta like sage the plane, but I think they would escort me off if I tried to do that, but it needs it, so I just sage myself. Woo! These forces are inevitable and unescapable in our modern world. This is why it is crucial to not only find positive influencers to surround yourself with, but to also defend against the inevitable negative influences in your environment. And unfortunately, there are more of them today than ever. Our news is heavily skewed negative. Our stress levels at work and school are, and by the way, there's footnotes for all of this. So if you're like a geeky, show me the receipts kind of person, this book does it. And of course that turns me on, like nobody's business. I love a good footnote. Our stress levels at work and school are at historic levels. Depression and anxiety rates have risen dramatically. Moreover, it takes only a single negative in our life to imbalance the entire system. In The Hidden Power of Social Networks, the authors Rob Cross and Andrew Parker describe in-depth research suggesting that, get ready y'all, roughly 90% of anxiety at work is created by 5% of one's network. The people who sap energy. This is why I say, get the negative Nellies out of your life, get the energy vampires out of your life, clean that shit up because they are more powerful than the positive influences. Science. Footnotes, backing that shit up. Harvard Business School research shows that a single toxic person has a much greater impact than a superstar on the team. We're starting to learn that these harmful forces can be hidden, infiltrating our ecosystem without us knowing it. So think of this chapter as being a class on the defense against the dark arts. I've always wanted to write that, he says. As any Harry Potter fan knows, it's great to have the power to work magic to defend against evil forces. I can't promise any magic, but I will offer 5 strategies for defending, disarming, and overcoming those forces that threaten our energy, creativity, passion, and potential. Ready? Here we go. Strategy number 1, build a moat. Strategy number 2, build a mental stronghold. Strategy number 3, learn the art of mental aikido. Strategy 4, take a vacation from your problems. And strategy 5, pick your battles. Note that this is the shortest chapter, but it's also the most strategy dense. I'm not suggesting that you try every single strategy in this chapter. Rather, find one that you feel you could put into practice effectively or at work or with your family right now. If it works, add another. Oh my God. It's like he's talking about self-management for actors and getting gear for the next tier. I don't go, here's 100 days, do all of this. I go, here's some tools that work for us. Maybe some of this works for you. It's right there in the welcome kit. Some of these days are going to make you go, oh my God, I'm cracked open. I'm forever different. Thank you, Bonnie. Other things are going to be like, that's cool. Another, you're going to go, no, I don't get that. Pick and choose. And then layer on as you see necessary. And it's different for everybody. And I fucking love that. And hello, Shawn, my soulmate. My God. Fine. Okay. Build your defenses strategically, one at a time, and build them fully before moving on to others. That is huge. Listen to that. Build your defenses strategically, one at a time, and build them fully before moving on to others. If you construct half a wall, invaders can just walk around it. Joey, there was something you said in the vault recently that made me think of this. When I read this, I was like, Joey, that whole, like, yes, this is a good strategy, and doing it, like having all the tabs open and thinking I'm going to get it all done, rather than going, wait, deep dive, I'm going to master this strategy, and then I'm going to layer on another, because then I can confidently use that one as like an easy go-to while I'm learning the next new thing. So I have lots of options down the line, but trying to learn lots of options all at once, maybe not as effective to actually building that barrier between you and that negative energy, depending on what we're working on. Obviously, I know you were working on show Bible and research and submitting and all the things, but I love that this is very similar in that mindset. So anyway, y'all, you're gonna hear me talking a lot about this book. Holy crap. I turn off alerts. Hi. Did he sign up for Getting Gear? I'm just curious. I am so all about this book. Your brain hates, like, seriously, just randomly pick stuff. Your brain hates wasting energy. So if it forgets why something is valuable or meaningful, it simply stops devoting valuable energy to it. Mental Aikido is about redirecting that energy toward the things that give you meaning. Oh, that's so good. If you find, hang on, if you notice yourself beginning to feel stressed about something, ask yourself, why does this matter? Think about why you care. Write it down if you need to, and stick that piece of paper to your computer monitor or refrigerator as a constant reminder. Ooh. Dude, frame challenges as enhancing. He's got a whole section on here on reframing the way you talk about the challenges you face. Hello. 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 Y'all. By the way, my neighbor is screaming at the top of her lungs, entering the second hour now, and the only words I can pick out other than fucking and locked out of my account I just picked up are AOL and Verizon. Do I have to go back to Verizon? Why can't AOL fix it? Okay, first of all, what you doing on AOL, girl? It's 2017. It's not 1997. What are you doing on AOL? Second, she loves stress. Loves stress. Oh my God. Oh my God. She's screeching like a howler monkey. Fascinating. I gotta put up a barrier to that, right? Michael Strahan, for example, former NFL defensive end for the Giants, told me his highest performing year came when he decided to focus on loving being on a team and supporting his teammates as they excelled, rather than worrying about whether he would get injured and have to retire. After hearing similar sentiments from SEALs and other NFL players alike, the lesson for companies and organizations was clear. We need to help our teams see stress as a group challenge, not an individual burden. So those of y'all getting together with study groups doing this shit, you are doing it right. Reframe failure. Oh my God, this whole section on mental Aikido is all Bonnie Gillespie 101. Dude. Okay, so I will continue consuming this and sharing it with y'all. Faux show. Hang on, I see a list. Oh, for taking time away. So, taking time away. Keith and I are actually going to have a vacation together for the first time in... Is it ever? Is it ever? The last time, like, we go to Hacienda Hot Springs. We go out to the desert hot springs. We go out there for a weekend or a long weekend, like 4 times a year. sometimes more, but 4 or 5 times a year, not a lot. The last time he and I traveled together anywhere big was New York 3 years ago for his directorial debut out there. He had directed a play that got into the United Solo Festival, and because he was directing it, we were out there together for him. And then, of course, I taught self-management for actors classes the whole time I was there, and spoke at SAG-AFTRA Foundation, and I did the usual Bonnie Gillespie show in New York. I don't think he and I have had a vacation where we've gotten on a plane and gone somewhere for pleasure ever. And we've been together 16 and a half years. In 2 weeks' time, we will be in Kauai learning how to stand up paddleboard. We're going to a wedding. It's vacation. It's not work. I'm not trying to meet with a college. I'm not trying to meet with a bookstore. I'm not trying to meet with clients. I'm taking my computer. I am sure I will be making shit for y'all in the dojo the whole flight because, whatever. Keith will be watching whatever he watches in flight. He may sleep. I can't sleep. I can't sleep. Can't sleep on a plane. It's not my thing. But I'm not working. Not trying to get hooked up to Wi-Fi so I can get on a coaching call. Nope. Holy shit. We're going to actually have a proper vacation. I'm so excited. I don't even know what to do about that. You're taking a true vacay in the mountains next week? Yes. Oh, you need the list. Okay, Andrew. Let me get to the list. What's the vacation list? Let me get you. Okay. Vacation from your problem. Strategy number 4. All right. Let me get you. Let me get me. We're gonna have this conversation, and then I'm gonna go because I got to get ready for my meeting with Aaron. Aaron's got to kick my butt. That's why you hire people. Just so you know, hire people so they can kick your butt. I pay Aaron to kick my butt. Paddleboarding is fun. Ariel, I'm nervous. But Natasha, if y'all know Natasha Kong, she's a ninja. She just posted in the main Facebook group that a group of us are going to go do trapeze on the Santa Monica Pier in December. And so she's like trying to get a group up together to do it. She has a web series called Nonsense with Natasha, and she did trapeze a couple months ago, which I was like, hey, that's been on my list forever, and I now finally feel like I have the strength and the body composition and the lack of fear to go do it. Let me know when she lives in Phoenix. I'm like, let me know when you're coming back to LA and we'll go together. And she's like, great. So now that's scheduled. Well, her last Nonsense with Natasha episode on her web series was stand-up paddleboarding. And I'm like, you just keep going and doing all the things that I say I want to do so that I can learn, have no fear. If she can do it, I can do it. And it's really awesome. So I'm pretty excited. Yeah, I'm nervous about stand-up paddleboarding because of the core strength and the balance. Exactly. But she made it look like, oh, this is totally doable. And it's a big enough board that it's got a lot of the balance too. But of course, I don't want to get all wobbly. Whatever. I get to be in Hawaii, stand up fucking paddleboarding. Even if I suck at it. How cool is that? All right, here we go. Vacation. Take a vacation from your problems. Do I want to read this whole thing? Okay, this is 3 pages. I'm going to read this whole thing and then we're going to go. We're told from a very early age that we should not avoid our problems. As a researcher, I disagree. You absolutely should avoid your problems, at least temporarily. Contrary to popular misconceptions, taking time away from your problems may actually help you reap one of the greatest competitive advantages that exist today. I started this chapter with a story about one of my son's favorite movies, so why not end it with a reference to one of mine? In the 90s classic What About Bob, psychiatrist Dr. Leo Marvin, played by Richard Dreyfuss, is desperate to get his annoyingly persistent patient, Bob Wiley, played by Bill Murray, out of his hair. So he writes him a prescription not for medication, but for a vacation from his problems. Naturally, the plan backfires as Bob decides to take his vacation at the same locale as Dr. Marvin, but comedy aside, Dr. Marvin's prescribed remedy has some fantastic scientific validity. Over the past 2 years, I've been partnering with the U.S. Travel Association on their new initiative, Project Time Off, a robust examination of the business implications of taking time off from work. According to U.S. Travel, Americans are taking less vacation time than at any point, in the past 4 decades. My brain decided how to complete that sentence rather than reading it. Also, these are uncorrected proofs. This is a galley copy. So there's actually typos and formatting errors in the book. So sometimes if I get tripped up, it's not me. It's because I have an advanced copy of the book, which is always really fun for me to see, because then I don't get so upset about how early versions of my book are not perfect either. Because New York Times bestselling author, he got a whole team of people helping him, and he misspelled a word in here that I went, really, Shawn? Okay. Americans think, okay, back up. One reason, according to Gary Oster, managing director of Project Time Off, is Americans think that taking time off will negatively impact their manager's perception of them, thereby reducing their chances for promotion or a raise. But in fact, research shows that the exact opposite is true. Taking your paid days off actually results in improved perception by your manager and increases the chances for a raise or promotion. According to our new research, people who take all of their vacation time have a 6.5% higher chance at promotion or raise than people who leave 11 or more days of paid time off on the table. On this, early on when I was writing for Actors Access, Mark Sykes was also writing. He came on like about 6 months after I did. And so he and I were both writing columns for most of the whole time I was there. He was there, except for those first like 6 months. Okay. There was a time that they gave us off 2 weeks with pay at like Christmas time. And I was like, cool. So I wrote the column that was going to be the one that would be sitting up there for the next 3 weeks, because it was the week that it was supposed to go live, and then the 2 weeks that I was not going to be putting up new content. And so I was like, I'm taking my time off. Bye, peace, all that. And he wrote columns those weeks that we had been given off, and he drew attention to it. And he said, I've been given time off with pay, but I believe in always working, always showing up. I want you showing up, so I'm going to show up too. And I mean, and he it's fine. He could certainly do that, and it didn't make me look bad. In fact, I had one of my clients say to me that when she saw that I took that time off, she loved that I was like, I've been told I have value and can take time away and replenish, and I'm going to do that. And she so fucking respected that. And I remember going, oh, okay, good. Well, I mean, I wasn't second guessing it, but it was really great to hear that. And since then, I know because I was given access to information I probably shouldn't have been given access to as a person working for money there. I know it was soon after that I got a really big jump in pay that he did not. And then there was one time, also the main reason I know this is because one time they mixed up our invoices when they paid us. And so they paid me my rate and they paid him his rate, but they enclosed his invoice with my check and my invoice with his check. And so I know exactly. Anyway, situation is I was seen as someone who understands the value of taking time off. And now there's science to back it up, because he's got footnotes. Footnotes. I love it. Oh my gosh. All right. 4 out of every 10 employees say they are reluctant to take a vacation because they have a lot of work to do. Yet, according to U.S. Travel's research, one of the top 2 benefits of taking time off is actually increased productivity. Plus, even if you don't take a vacation, you're still going to have a lot of work to do, but you'll get it done faster if you take time out to recharge your battery. That's resetting for states of flow. Y'all know that. In the Happiness Advantage, I describe research that proves when the brain is positive, productivity improves by 31% and sales improve by 37%. Creativity triples and revenues can triple as well. And in a subsequent Harvard Business Review article that was based on a decade of research, I concluded that the greatest competitive advantage in the modern economy is a positive and engaged brain. That's what we're doing right here. Even if you're watching in replay, that's what we're doing right here. But there's just one catch. It stands to reason that taking a beach vacation or touring the Italian countryside or going to visit an old friend or loved one would make for a much happier and more positive brain, but it's not necessarily the case. In that article, I described previous research from the Netherlands that showed that the average vacation yields no improvement in people's levels of energy or happiness upon returning, but that was the average vacation. In a follow-up study of more than 400 travelers from around the world, my colleague and vacation companion, Michelle Gillian from the Institute for Applied Positive Research, I want to go work there, and I found that 94% of vacations do result in higher levels of happiness and energy if you approach them in a smart way. Specifically, we found that if you, formatting. Number 1, plan a month in advance and prepare your coworkers for your time away so you aren't fielding their frantic emails. And oh my God, I've been walling off for this vacation for 6 months. Everybody knows, like, I'm out. Third week of October, I'm out. I'm out. 2, go outside your city. The farther the better. See, this is why those Hacienda Hot Springs trips that Keith and I make out to the desert are okay. They're good little resets, but they're local. 3, meet someone knowledgeable about the location who can help show you around. Okay, my version of this right now is I have been following like the Kauai Surf School and various things on Instagram that are going on in Kauai so that I'm getting a picture of this. And y'all, watch this. In the past 2 months, 3 of my pole sisters and 1 of my sober coaches have been in Kauai. Not have gone to Hawaii, have been on the exact island that we're going to. And I have, like, in the past 2 months. And so I've just been stalking, what are they doing? And they're putting up Instagram stories, and they're at this waterfall, and they're doing this thing, and they went to this, and they went to that, da, da, da. And I am, like, bookmarking all the things. And so it's like I have my little experts who have done the recon. And of course, I'm not at all surprised that happened, because that's my intention is there. My focus is there. The universe is giving me exactly what I need to prepay for the success that I want to have in that space. Done. Number 4, have the travel details set before departing, so you're not stressing yourself out trying to find last minute plane tickets or accommodations. Done. We paid for this shit like months ago. All right. Your vacation is very likely to lead to greater happiness and energy, and therefore greater productivity, performance, and resilience at work if you've done those 4 things. Plan a month in advance. Prepare your coworkers for your time away. Go outside your city, the farther the better. Meet someone knowledgeable about the location who can help show you around. Have the travel details set before departing so you're not stressing out with last minute details that you got to fix. Got all that? Today we ordered my noise canceling headphones because on the trip to New York and back, I was like, why am I still using these 8-year-old noise canceling headphones that like hurt my head and really have seen better days? It's time for an upgrade. These things I spent $60 on 8 years ago, and that was a lot of money 8 years ago for me. We can upgrade. Keith spent too much money on my new noise canceling headphones, but he assures me there's a really good reason for it. I still get twitchy about that. I don't need to unnecessarily spend too much money on some shit, but that cleaning up that stuff. All right. If that isn't enough to convince you, consider that taking time off essentially means an immediate pay raise. I'm in. No research is necessary for this one. It's just simple math. If you work on salary and don't take your paid vacation days, you just took a voluntary pay cut for the per hour for the extra time you've worked. Okay, but what about those of us who ain't on any kind of salary or run a business? I feel like I only get paid when I work and show up to work. So next time you find yourself feeling guilty about taking a vacation, thinking that it will be perceived as a lack of commitment or that you just have too much to do, remind yourself that scientifically taking paid time off improves your productivity and performance, speeds up your career advancement, and if approached correctly, makes you happier. How's that, Andrew? That help you? I'm telling you. I know I said that was only 3 pages, but I stopped like every paragraph to yes and. So I slowed it down. I was reading this aloud in the car as Keith was driving me to the Denise Duffield Thomas event last night. And I stopped reading it aloud at one point. And he goes, why'd you stop reading aloud? And I'm like, because reading aloud slows me down. Because not only is it technically is slower to read aloud, because your brain connects things without having to hear it if you're not reading aloud. But also then I would stop and want to talk with him, and he'd want to talk, and we would yes and. Vermont next week, and then Norway in November. Andrew, yes. Big yes. Norway's on my list. That's a good one. Iceland's on my list. I got a big list. We're gonna go lots of fun places. I love that turn off alerts is like one of the places I opened up talking with y'all. No duh. Damn. Anyway, I'm sure I'll have this done soon. Did he just say billion-D? What word caught my eye that looked like billion-D? Nope. Okay. That would have been funny. I would like that. My eyes caught a word that looked like billion-D, but it was the word above it was bound, like bound to, and then ability was so billion-D. Anyway, love you, beautiful people. Thanks for joining me. I hope y'all got some really good stuff out of that, and will continue to. because how transforming the pursuit of success raises our achievement, happiness, and well-being is the subtitle, which I love. Shawn's a smart smarty. I love all of this. Love sharing all of this with you. Cannot wait to share the energy project stuff with you next. I think that's next up in the vault. I also have a couple of updates I want to make to the dip kit, and I know I already gave you that in the vault, but I realized there were a couple things that I wanted to add, and I don't know if I want to add another audio, or if I want to redo the audio, or if I just want to write it. And so that's why I'm procrastinating on it, because I haven't decided format wise what I want to do there for that. But that's coming next also. There's a lot. Yay! Awesome. Thanks, Andromeda. Thanks, Theron. I was good. Theron. Such a sexy Theron. I don't know why I like to say your name sexy. Good. I'm so glad y'all enjoyed this. I'm glad you were able to join me live, even though we didn't technically schedule this. Not technically. We didn't schedule this. We just said, let's do this. You beautiful people, thank you so much for being here. Y'all are just awesome. I love you. Thank you for being great mentors. I'm doing some of the bonus coaching with your mentees, and they are all just having such a blast, and really appreciate the support that you're providing, whether it's you check on them, you send a tweet every now and then, you're meeting up with them, Skyping, texting, seeing them in the comments, and yes-anding them. So thank you so much for staying leaders and being lighthouses and being the beautiful people that you are. I love y'all. I'll catch up again soon. Have a great weekend if I don't see you around before then. And those of you I'm about to fly with at Pole tomorrow, can't wait. Love you, beautiful people. Bye.